Republican Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, he has a new piece on FoxNews.com that's critical of major U.S. ally. Its headline, Germany needs to step up against Russia and start pulling its weight in Ukraine. Why are you calling out Germany in this moment? Senator Kennedy, welcome.
Because Germany deserves it. The United States of America and Germany are dear friends, and friends tell each other the truth. And the truth is that Germany is the largest economy in Europe, the fourth largest economy in the world. And Germany is not pulling its weight in terms of defense of European sovereignty. It's not pulling its weight in the war in Ukraine. It's not pulling its weight against Russia aggression, and it needs to do better.
Senator, are you pleased with what you have heard so far? We obviously carried that live news conference during these hours yesterday with the Joint Chiefs chairman basically saying, okay, this happened. When questioned about Russia's intentions, we don't really know, he said, about recovering anything from the drone in the waters there in the Black Sea. They said, we'll see. It's pretty deep. We don't know if anything's recoverable, only to then this morning find out that Russian ships rushed to the location, obviously, with interest in recovering anything from that American drone. So what exactly is going on here? And are you sensing the urgency you would expect after this happened?
A couple of points, Sandra. That's a good question. Number one, Russia does this often. Putin is a bully. Number two, at the moment, I think Putin is very frustrated. He thought he was going to roll through Ukraine like thunder on a summer night, and he's losing in Ukraine because Europe and the Western world stuck together. I don't want to overstate this, but I don't want to understate it. We need to speak in very frank terms to Putin and say, look, you have this habit of flying your fighter jets close to our aircraft, in this case a drone. We're not saying it was intentional that you knocked our drone down. The truth is we don't know, but it better not happen again. And if you think that we don't mean business, I give you the fight in Ukraine. Don't make the situation worse.
What do you say to the American people who see that this happened, who sense that it was another provocation from Russia, who sense that we are doing nothing, that this administration is not responding firmly enough? How far would you like to see us go in our response, Senator?
Well, here's what I would say to the American people and also to President Biden. Number one, peace through weakness never works. Number two, weakness only invites the wolves. Number three, Putin is a wolf. He only understands strength, but he's a bully. The truth is, the Russian people are wonderful people, but the Russian government under Putin, he's turned Russia into a third-rate country with nuclear weapons. Its economy has been weakened. Its economy is smaller than the economy of the state of New York, for God's sakes. And we need to stand up to Putin. Now, General Milley, I hope you're listening too. We need to send a very strong message that we're not going to tolerate all this kind of nonsense.
But I'm asking how? How do we do that without it just being words, Senator, or is that enough?
Well, I think words are a part of it, but I don't want to start a war. But we need to draw lines in the sand and tell Putin these are the lines you can't cross, and if you do, they're going to be consequences. Now, what those lines ought to be, that's up to our military. But that's the problem that we've had. It started back in the Middle East with President Obama when he drew a line in the sand, and Russia and others crossed it, and we ignored it.
Final question on your piece. It's on FoxNews.com. You just put it up. Germany's not pulling its weight, you say, Senator. You point out that current spending by share of GDP would not even place Germany in the top 10 nations in terms of financial support for Ukraine. Not only has Germany been slow to pull out its pocketbook, but it appears to be in no rush to send weapons either. Before moving an inch, Germany demands the United States move a mile. And so far, the Biden administration appears to be playing along. Okay, so you're calling out Germany. I mean, what is the risk in doing that right now?
None, in my judgment. If Germany gets mad, I don't want them to, but if they do, they need to call someone who cares. Look, I love Germany. They're dear friends, but they're not pulling their weight. Estonia, Lithuania, Poland, the UK, Canada, the United States of America, we're pulling our weight in Ukraine. But Germany is not. It promised to start spending 2% of GDP on military. It hasn't. It promised to set aside $100 billion to get its military up to snuff. It hasn't. What you do is what you believe, and everything is just cottage cheese. The truth is, Germany is the most powerful country, not militarily, economically, in Europe. But Germany and the other European countries are totally dependent, totally on the United States of America for their national security. Now, all of our European friends who aren't pulling their weight need to do better. But Germany is the worst in terms of doing that because of its economy is so huge. It has the money, it just doesn't want to put it up. The Chancellor Scholz in Germany says, well, we're more worried about energy than we are about defense. Well, he needs to get a set of binoculars and go look and see what Russia is doing in Ukraine. That's one of his neighbors.
Well, it is quite a moment that we are in, and the release of that brand new footage of the Russian jet actually taking that drone down is really something. And the American people see it. They're awaiting this update from the Pentagon that is coming a short time from now. We'll be watching for that. Thank you so much, Senator. John Kennedy from the great state of Louisiana joining us from the Hill.